Tuesday night, Birds of a Feather live from live on A2DRadio.com from the Real Talk Studios. Chrome Chucks, Kevin Godwin, Mr. Ryan Brodo on the ones and twos, brought to you by Gibson Mayer, our certified public accountants. Make them yours, GibsonMayer.com. Our topic of conversation, guys, is brought to you by Dr. Paul Vidal, our doctor over at Specialized Physical Therapy. Find him in Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton, New Jersey. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. No appointment needed. Our topic of conversation tonight, guys, with the rumor that Howie Roseman has been contacting the Rams weekly about Jalen Ramsey. Are the Philadelphia Eagles going to make a trade for Jalen Ramsey? Agree, disagree? Anybody?
Agree. I think we're getting Jalen Ramsey.
No. There is no agreeing. Because Jalen Ramsey, breaking news before we went on the air, which is why we delayed. And we're going to let this siren go for another 10 seconds because it's warranted. Has been traded for 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick to the Los Angeles Rams. It's a banner day for me, guys. The Cardinals are facing elimination. Jalen Ramsey's been traded. Not to the Philadelphia Eagles. The actual conversation was they're just going to go out and get a cornerback. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey was the ideal name we had out there. That's not happening. Adam Schefter reporting a 2020 and 2021 first-round picks, and I believe a 2021 4th round.
Yeah.
Anybody can pick up the ball right now. I got nothing to say at this point.
I think Jimmy Kemsky had the tweet of the night so far in relation to this trade. He retweets Adam Schefter's news of the trade on Twitter, and he goes, "I don't think the Eagles will be trading for Ramsey based on this news."
Hey.
It makes me laugh, but I'm like crying too.
I'm crying inside a little bit. I mean, do we really think this trade was going to get done to the? I didn't think he was going to get traded at all. To be honest with you, I'm a little. Oh, here we go. I didn't think this trade. I can't win. Know where I'm at. I can't win. This is ridiculous. I didn't think this trade was going to happen at all, but it did, and it makes you wonder about all the rumors. The Eagles put out 2 first-round picks and a 3rd-round pick, and it was rejected because they thought that the Eagles would have first-round picks, and it wasn't high enough for them. But then you hear the Rams, who are in the same boat as the Philadelphia Eagles. If anything, at this point, we're likely to have a higher draft pick than the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is where we're at. I'm breathing a lot in the microphones because there's a lot of sighing going on inside and outside of me right now. But, yeah. Good stuff, guys. Good show. Thank you for joining us. Season's over. That's it.
Well, let me just say this.
Listen, if you're on Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere, guys, let's talk about it. We got a lot to get out. There's a lot of grief, a lot of frustration to get out today. We want to talk to you guys. We want to hear from you. We expect that the chat's going to be flying, and we're going to try to get to every one of you. And you know what? Let's start getting out the shovels and burying Howie.
So here we go.
No excuse for
that. Let me say this right now, all right? Because I want to get the one side of the trade out of the way.
Oh, God.
All right? Even with this trade, the Rams aren't winning the division. I will still stand by that. Because their problems go way beyond just a cornerback. And we saw that Sunday against the 49ers, the division and division-leading and undefeated 49ers, whom everyone thought were going to be bad. So the Rams' problems go far beyond cornerback. They cannot stop the run. They cannot protect Jared Goff. They cannot run like they used to. So I'm telling you, they are not. The division is still going to come down between the Niners and the Seahawks, not the Rams. And to follow up what Chrome said, I still think we finish with a better record than the Rams. All right, that's still me. You can say I'm being I'm being a homeboy, whatever, a homer, whatever. But I still think we have a better team and we'll finish with a better record than the Rams. Now, onto this.
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna hit the same thing. I agree with you 100%. I think that even with getting Ramsey, for them, it doesn't make much sense on the Rams' point because I think that they are more than one piece away as far as even being in playoff contention. I think both the Seahawks and the 49ers can go into the division or into the playoffs as a wild card and division winner and leave the Rams out of it altogether.
Yep.
For me, it doesn't make sense, but if you got a guy like Ramsey, you go and get him no matter what anyway.
He helps, but he doesn't help enough. I'll put it that way. He helps that team, but not nearly enough. Because, again, that is not their biggest problem.
Already over on the chat. Thomas Arnaud, I'm pissed. Trevor Harris, I love you, buddy. Hey, Cardinals fan, F you. That's for you, pal. Bill Middlebrook, effing bullshit. A lot of F Howies in here. Ralph Delavecchio, F Howie. Ja'Cory Plummer, I'm pissed off. We're with you, brother, except for this guy. David Roscoe, Ramsey to the Rams. Congratulations, pal. Like Chuck said, you got more to worry about, but you can't deny it's a big pickup for them. Ralph says, effing nerd, talking about Howie. Bill Middlebrook, maybe I've been right for the past 4 weeks in your AM and the PM show. I've been saying PP is Howie's man. Now we know the price. I guess Patrick Pederson. Eileen Pompey. What's up, Eileen? Good evening, gentlemen. She says, yay, my fellow Pats lover. Hello. Come on, Eileen. Come on, Eileen.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Ritter, have a great show, guys. Go Birds. Thanks, Andy. Andy from In This Very Ring. David Roscoe, we got him. Bill Middlebrook, my favorites are getting better, and the rest are sitting on their asses. Or the favorites, I'm sorry. Eileen says your Eagles will win against the cow fuckers. All right. I hope so. I did not see that coming. Ralph says another LA team comes and takes another superstar away from us. Oh, shut up, you crumb. You Laker crumb. Us. You're not us.
The hell are you?
Not us. You can't talk about superstars going to LA and call yourself us. What is this shit?
Chrome, I think hockey's on soon.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
This is miserable. Patrick Pederson is next. Anthony Adis says Patrick Pederson is next. Eileen says she's a Phillies girl, but she's rooting for the Astros now. Zach Boylan wants to know, who are we trading for?
Who the hell knows at this point?
Patrick Peterson, Chris Harris, Xavier Howard. I don't know. I don't know.
I think Xavier Howard's your best bet to go after, being that.
I don't know.
Are they
I will take any of them.
Are they looking to trade him though? They weren't looking to trade him previously.
No, well, apparently the Jags weren't looking to trade Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, been down that road before.
Chris Harris, another one. I don't know.
I don't even care right now. We were talking before the show, and Tom's like, "Who'd have thought? Oh, what was that?
Chrome?
What was that?
Chrome?
Leave it on.
I'll put on Grey's Anatomy.
No, leave it on. Jesus Christ, it's the Bad News Bears out here.
Just watch the Phillies.
You're going to see a lot of anger coming out right now. Anyway, I don't even know. We were talking about Jalen Ramsey and Avonte Matt. It's like we feel like the Legion of Boom is coming back. That was Tom's quote, and I agree. Like this is where we're at now. I don't even know. Bill says, I knew when I seen the Rams traded for 26-year-old Pro Bowl cornerback for a linebacker that the Ramsey deal was looming. Now they got a cornerback and a linebacker. WTF, Howie. Roscoe with the Ramsey, whatever. Go tell me about the Chargers, you crumb. Rams will be in the postseason making noise. Howie effing stinks. That's from Ralphie. Zach says the Rams' biggest problem, his name is Jared Goff. Without that big-time running game, Goff's weaknesses are shining through. Anthony says the problem is Jim Schwartz. It's his shitty, soft defense. I just don't think the right personnel is in place. And he's not willing to work around to make it suit his personnel. I mean, the personnel stinks. Let's be real. It's not good. Something we thought might be a strength and depth-wise, not. Eileen, I asked on the last show how the Pats gentleman there became a Pats fan. No one ever answered me. Yeah, he grew up to be a follower. That's all he is. He's a front runner. Let's be real. I mean, if you know the year he was born and when he started talking.
It's only getting worse. This is a freaking
shark.
shark.
It's 5-0?
I'm riding the ship. We're riding the ship down. This is going to happen, guys. Until it gets to like 10, then I'm done.
It might be that soon.
I mean, I'm right? You grew up and you were like, oh, cool, this team wins a lot. I'm going to be a fan of them instead of being like a hometown fan.
Well, it was really out of spite for the most part. If I do put it in lesser terms, it happened to be that I didn't watch sports at all when I was growing up. So
Makes sense.
So when I saw the Eagles the Eagles crumbs, if you will, the fans that are either I hate you or you're an Eagles fan, I was like, well, you know what? I don't want to be part of that. So
you're too soft for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're
yes.
too soft for
Yeah,
this.
sure. Go
Soft
ahead.
like a
Don't let the tough guy
Soft
beard
lady.
fool you that Jason Kelsey looked.
Yeah.
See right through you.
So I was like, you know what? I like blue and red, and it looks good together. So
It sounds like a girl thing.
Oh my God.
I think blue and red.
Matches my eye.
I
Yeah,
reg-
right.
I
Growing
reg-
up, he was like, that dude definitely looks like an
regret-
open mouth kisser of his kid one
I
day. I'm going to
regret
follow
hearing the story now.
him.
Those are 3 minutes. We'll
Eileen,
never
I
get
hope
back.
you got what you wanted out of that because we got everything we never needed out of that.
You see Jeff's
Bill
comment?
Middleton, no, I'll get to it. Bill says, I'm not changing my narrative. Been saying for a month that Howie's man was PP. He's finally eligible this week, and now we know the price. Let's go, Howie. I mean, he's old. That's my thing. He's old.
But he's still better than what we have.
He is, but
I
he's
will-
old.
I will take it. I will take
I would take him, but
He's still not a horrible
he
quarterback.
shouldn't
He's a
be
good
your
corner.
he shouldn't be your man though when Jalen Ramsey is out there.
Good point.
That's
Good
the
point.
point.
Good
Wait,
point.
Jalen's still not out there?
If that like if Howie comes out here and Howie says we were looking at Patrick Pederson as our target the whole time, that's the disgrace.
And
Sorry.
but if he says well, he's not going to say it anymore. But if he had said something like we tried to get Ramsey, the Jags weren't having it, but we still made out got to move to improve our football team. Something along those lines, I can take it and be like, okay, all right, let's move forward.
Frank says, hey, yo, sorry to bother you at work. It's frustrating to see this unfold. However, I was not all in on Ramsey the Eagles. Would have been nice to get him, but Bill says the Rams got two big pickups. They traded for a Pro Bowl cornerback and linebacker. Frank, realistically, it would not happen. I do expect to trade real soon. I don't know why that cut my comment off. I don't know either, buddy. Eileen's jumping out. Thank you, Eileen. Appreciate you popping in.
Come on, Eileen.
What is that, Ralph? Cards need to fold their franchise. Shut up, you
He's
fucking
he's
idiot.
lashing out now. He doesn't know where to go.
He's a dumbass. Frank Vespi, Xavier Howard, or Chris Harris have to be on the top of their boards right now come deadline. Jeff Lohmeyer says, ever been so mad that you can't do anything but laugh uncontrollably?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's where
That's
that was us
what we
before it
did.
came on the air,
We
actually.
did.
What year were you born, Kevin?
95.
95. Crumb.
It's a young one.
Bill Middlebrook, is it just me, but I feel like my dog died? I'm sick to my stomach. Didn't I say earlier I feel like my dog died?
Yeah.
I
Something
said that
like
before
yeah.
we went on the air. I feel like I lost a pet.
I feel like a part of me died.
Peter Evans, beyond pissed right now. No nuts, Howie. New nickname.
Oh God.
That's nice.
Zach Boylan, if they trade anything more than a third for Patrick Peterson, I'm going to go play in traffic at 5 in the
I'll
afternoon.
take Patrick Robertson. Speaking of, is he available?
Oh my God.
He's better than everybody we have.
I would still trade a second, but nothing more than a second for
Yeah.
Patrick. 1 second.
Hey, guys, we got
One
two
second
two
round
outs,
pick.
guys. Just saying. Bill Middlebrook,
Yay.
Peterson is going to be cheaper, and he's been a Pro Bowler every year. We have to think about contracts and other areas of need. Patrick Peterson makes more sense. We need a cornerback and a wideout. Man, you go all in this year if you got a chance. That's
Can I relay something off of Bill? Because I'm not saying I agree, but I did see a tweet by Brendan Lee Gowton from BGN, which it makes sense even though I don't agree. He says, as a follow-up to the breaking news, he says, Howie Roseman is too scared to trade multiple first-round picks. Eagles have the second oldest roster and the worst under 25 talent in the NFL, as ranked by ESPN. Only 10 picks made in the last 2 drafts. Eagles also have a Carson Wentz mega contract to build around. Roseman seems to be counting on those rookie contracts to be bargains, which is great if it works out that way. But in the meantime, there's a huge need at cornerback. Missed opportunity to add surefire talent to the roster.
Put the Sixers on.
So
I'm done.
So, all in
seen
all, let's look at it. Let's look at the big picture because I know we don't want to admit it. Okay, we don't want to admit it, but right before this breaking news came out, were we not all just talking about how Howie's been bad at drafting, and he has to get this team younger, correct? So, to what BLG's point is, it's a valid point. We're mad that we didn't get Ramsey, but it is a valid point that those picks are going to be important because we have to get younger, and we have to consider that Wentz's contract is going to be more expensive, and we're going to need to build through the draft. We can't build through trades and free agency anymore. However, at the same time, regardless of where those rounds were, 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick, you can still, to me, you can still give up those picks for Jalen Ramsey, who's still young, and in his prime, he's 24? He's still young. That automatically gives you young talent, and then still use the rest of those picks within those next 1-2 years that you would be giving those picks up. You can still have the picks in like the 2nd to 7th rounds to still build a young team. So I get the point, and I think that we have to keep that in mind. So like I get it. There's a certain point where you have to draft well, but for a guy like Jalen Ramsey, you have to, because he's still young. He's not a Patrick Pederson or Chris Harris who are in their 30s or about to go in their 30s. He's still young and in his prime.
Over on Twitter, Shaquan at Audible4040 says, I don't see Howie making no moves for no corner. At this point, Howie does not surprise me. If you were Philly fans, you know how he is, one of them getting stuff at the last minute for cheap. Shaquan, we don't disagree with you, man. I mean,
but
at this point, we do not disagree with you. And again, guys, get your comments in Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever we're at. We're going to get over to the YouTube in a couple minutes. I'm sure that's flying. We're going to try to get across the platforms. Sometimes we get a little lackadaisical with that. We're going to make sure we try to get across all platforms and get in as much as we possibly can. So, what do you got over on the tube?
So, Rosca going on his parade. We'll just move through those. Bryce Blackwell says, Howie, hello, WTF. He also says, Ramsey, I knew it. Savage Gang 215 says, WTF never. He's talking about something else. Y2 Fly says, A2D family, what's good? Anyone in this chat coming to the Dallas to watch my birds? Not us. Chris says, Howie, no nuts Roseman. Can't believe that. Trayvon Dixon says, no, Jalen Ramsey is not to us. Why? Y2 Fly says, are you serious? Then he says, that's cool. We didn't have his type of money. I don't know. I disagree with that. Eagles Nest says, what is Howie saving picks for? It's not like anyone he drafts will be better than Ramsey. Wasn't his draft pick Sidney Jones supposed to be a superstar? Trayvon says, I'm crying. Then he starts talking about Von Miller or Chris Harris. Dwayne says, what are we going to do now? What makes you say he was talking about Von Miller? Pootie Tang, what's up, Pootie Tang? He says, and what about the linebacker position? Zach Brown wasn't the best, but Bradham is hurt. Why move depth?
Because he sucked. You talking about Zach Brown?
Yes.
Yeah, because he wasn't playing well.
Chris 8835 says, what's the status of Darby and Mills? I never thought I would be excited for their return, but I am.
Darby, I think, is still a week or 2 away. Mills is practicing. They still haven't officially added him to the roster, but they did activated him from PUP. So he has a 3-week window to be officially added to the roster. It looks hopeful for Sunday.
Real quick, over on Instagram, it looks like one Ducky. He says, I'm assuming he was supposed to say pissed. But he says, so let's see, who do you think the Eagles will pursue to make up for this?
Well, it's got to be big. It's got to be a multiple.
I mean, we kind of threw out some names already, right? Patrick Pederson is one. Xavier Howard. Who was the other one we said? Chris Harris, right. That's 3 names out there. That's the only 3 names I could think of that would be suitable enough.
Well, here's the thing, and we were kind of talking a little bit last night in the chat that, yesterday they got rid of 2 guys, the Philadelphia Eagles. That cornerback that roster spot is going to be filled by Mills.
That cornerback. I love him. That cornerback.
Oh, what was his name?
No, I don't even know his name. That's the point.
No disrespect.
That's the point, yeah.
He was that guy.
But, I remember 2 weeks ago, I saw him on, the on the roster or whatever.
Yeah, he was a bubble guy.
Who's this? I'm like,
yeah.
Who?
And then Zach Brown, And we were kind of talking a little bit last night, and I was talking to other people. Nobody could come up with the answer, so I would assume I'm correct by saying this. Nobody's filled Zach Brown's roster spot. There's literally an open roster spot just sitting there.
Yep.
And Jalen Mills doesn't need it because he got it from that other cornerback. Deshaun's not going to need it because he was never off the roster.
Never off the roster.
Darby's not going to need it. LeBlanc's not due back until after the bye. Avante's not going to need it. So nobody under our roster is going to need it. So when we saw that, I thought, okay, well then Howie's doing something.
Well, he's trying to. I firmly believe he's trying to do something.
Well, he's not trying hard enough.
Yeah,
but
you can say that, but he's trying to make a move.
So going to the question Chrome just talked about, in order to make up for this needs to be multiple players. Okay, I'm not talking about Band-Aids. I'm talking about multiple players. I'm not saying you give me Von Miller and Antonio Brown or something. I'm not talking about blockbusters here.
Yeah.
But as we talked about, would we want Chris Harris? Sure. Would we want Patrick Pederson? Maybe. Xavier Howard? Maybe. None of those guys touch what Jalen Ramsey does.
Yep.
Therefore, you need to make up with it in bulk, which, again, it's going to be harder to do.
Yep. Over here, real quick on Facebook before we get back to the tube. Eileen says, OMG, I was 25 in 1995. LOL. Not a Pats bandwagon. I love them since they stank. I appreciate that. Kevin is not the same case, unfortunately. He likes blue and red because he's a weird guy. Ralph Delavecchia, at this point, fold the season. He's talking about the Cardinals. You said franchise earlier, you crumb.
The team just moved.
Clinky says Eagles need to make a trade. Yes. Clinky on Hockey Happy Hour Thursday nights a niche night. Ralph Delavecchia, we ain't getting nobody. Tom says send Howie back to the electrical closet.
Well, we were talking before, and I'll get to YouTube in a second. We were talking right before the show. Chuck's and I were screaming. And Howie, if you're listening, which you should be, okay, you have until the end of this show, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to make a move.
10:15. We started.
And this all 10:15. Excuse me. 10:15. That's an extra 15
after
minutes.
15 minutes. We
to
gave
make
him an
a
extra
move.
15 minutes.
And then this all goes away. Kind of. You have until 10:15.
I don't know if it's all going away.
Of course not. But it just sounds better off the tongue.
It depends.
You know what I'm saying?
It depends
sounds more
on what.
enticing
It
for him
depends
to
on the
do it.
trade. I will be. There is a way for him to make a move to satisfy me and be like, okay, it's not Ramsey, but I'm content. I'm happy with it. So, but we'll see we'll see what happens. I think it's very possible. We're all thinking corner, and rightfully so. That is the number one position that needs upgrading. But I think it's very possible that we're talking about also a defensive lineman. A name that I found really intriguing that it could happen because he hasn't been a fit in that defense is Leonard Williams from the Jets. I think he's been, because they're switching to a 3-4, and he hasn't lived up to the bill of the draft pick that he was it 2 years ago? It's possible he could be in his way out. So that's a target that maybe that's a defensive lineman that could absolutely fill a need here and still be at a reasonable cost. And then you go out, get someone, another corner like a Patrick Pederson or Chris Harris or Xavier, whatever. And then you make those two moves, and all of a sudden you're back in business. So something like that, I would be content with.
So, and this goes right to Tom's question too. So the other day, it was 2 days ago, I found a list of every draft pick Howie Roseman has made since he's come back in power. So I'm not talking about pre.
I have that too, yeah.
I'm not talking about pre-Chip Kelly or anything. I'm talking about since he's come back. And the whole Joe Douglas, because this goes into Joe Douglas too, which, we'll talk about later because I have something on that. But you just tell me, play a little game, people at home as well. Tell me which ones have actually hit, okay? We'll start with 2016. Wentz, obviously, yes. Ciamalo?
I'd say that it's a hit enough because he's a starter. It's a hit because he's a starter. And he was, a third-round pick?
Yes.
He's a starter. It's not a great hit, but he's a starter. And he's here. He's solid. So, to me, it's a hit. You have to – I mean, how many draft picks are there that teams – I'm not just talking about the Eagles. I'm talking about everyone. Mm-hmm. They pick in the middle rounds, and they're nothing. It's a hit. It's a hit.
Wendell Smallwood in the 5th.
We know that it's not a hit.
Okay. Listen, I'm just reading what's on the prompter. Holly Pulivati Vaitai, 5th.
It's a hit.
Blank Countess.
No.
Okay. Just
If I'm silent, that means go on.
Jalen Mills, obviously, that's like that's good in the 7th round. That's good.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, they traded a lot of picks to get Wentz, and so they were left with their next pick was what in the 3rd round, and then the 5th round, right?
Is that
am I correct?
A couple jumping in here.
Yeah.
Zach thinks Dallas Goedert, good pick.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let's get to it before we jump ahead. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to ignore the fan when they're
Well,
dropping names in. They can drop the names in too. Jalen Mills in the 7th round. He agreed with that one.
Just go year by year.
Alex McAllister, obviously, no. Joe Walker, no.
No.
I think 2016 overall, considering everything, was
the good stuff.
Was a good year.
That's the good stuff.
Would everyone agree that 2016 was a good year because he had to make trades up to get Carson. He didn't just fall to us at 2. He had to make those trades, and then considering that you get Big V, Isaac, and Jalen Mills also in those mid to late rounds as solid players. I think it's a good year, good draft year.
So then we get to 2017. Derek Barnett. Yeah.
Disappointment so far.
Yeah, that's a no. Anyone disagree with that? Chrome, you disagree with that? Derek Barnett?
Disappointment.
Based off of who that could have been?
I would say,
that could have been.
I would say, well, we were talking guys like Reuben Foster also at that pick, who
Dalvin Cook.
would have been Dalvin Cook, right? Who also got hurt the year after. I mean, I get what you're saying, but
So Derek Barnett.
I don't know. To me, the jury's still out because he's made big plays in crucial moments.
Wait.
See.
But
Like a lot of big plays in crucial moments.
Yeah, but
they might be the only plays he's making, but he's made a lot of big plays in
but
crucial moments.
he's also been for what pick was he? 14?
14 or 13, I believe?
14th overall pick.
14, yeah.
Considering he's in his now third year.
Listen, you're not going to convince me otherwise. I
he's
said
in
the jury's
he's
out.
in
I didn't
thir-
say yes or
he's in
no.
third
For me,
year.
the jury's out.
Yeah, and the
You
hype
could say
around
he's a
him-
bust. I
the
could
hype-
say he's. I think I give him the
hype
benefit of the
around
doubt.
him was that
That's the deal.
The hype around him was that he was going to be.
I understand what the hype
big
around is.
weapon,
Oh, he broke
right?
Reggie White's
So-
sack record. Big
so
deal.
far, the
But
fact
in
that
my
he
eyes,
is
the
a
guy is
starter
a jury out. Because if he came in and he
opposite
didn't
of
make
Brandon
any plays at
Graham,
all, then
you
I
can't-
would say,
so
yeah,
far
absolutely,
he's
the guy
been
is a
disappointment.
bust.
And
But
yesterday-
now
so
I'm looking
yesterday-
at it as a guy who has
last
come
year
in and
he
made
got
plays.
hurt,
Now
wasn't
this year,
available.
does he have any
So
mistakes and has he
what
made
is he-
stupid
what
penalties
is
and
he
played a little
doing
dirty?
right now?
Yeah.
He is a disappointment so far.
It
He
didn't
is a
say
disappointment
so far. It said, are we considering the guy a bust right now?
I'm
I
saying-
am not considering the guy a bust yet. I'm considering the
But we're
jury is still out. There has
we're
been
going
there
off
has
of
been
if
disappointments.
We're making a judgment right now.
And the judgment
about
for me
whether-
right now is
whether this
it is
bat is a hit. Or,
jury out because he's made really
what
good
is the use
plays
of this
and then he's
exercise?
made really
So then-
terrible
okay,
plays
so
and he's
then-
disappeared.
So, then everything
that's
from
where I'm at
2017
as far
on-
as the jury
so
out.
everything that Ryan is asking. So from 2017 on, we're just not going to reach any judgment on any of these players. Then
I didn't say that, but what
But
I said
you're
is
saying-
jury is
but
out
if
for
you're-
me.
Yeah, but then
I don't have to make a
because
decision about a guy from 2017
But
to
then-
now.
but he's
he was
asking
hurt
the
last
question.
year. He played
He's
well
asking the
before he
question
got
of,
hurt last
do we
year, and then he
believe
got hurt.
these-
So
do
I'm
we
leaving it
believe
out.
these draft picks have been hits or busts? Do it like
I'm not calling him a bust
What
or a
was your-
hit.
What was your question?
I don't have to
What was
make
the
a decision
exercise?
on a guy
What was
yet
the
after
exercise?
2 years.
Okay, then forget it. We're not going to go year by year then because there's no point.
You can
Because there's
go
no
year
point.
by year, but we
No,
don't all
because
have
there's
to
no
make a
point, because
decision.
we all don't have to
It's
make a
all
decision.
about opinion, Chucks,
Okay.
and not everybody's
Not
going to share
available,
your
not
opinion on
available,
it,
not
Chucks.
available. It's not about that.
It
It's
is.
about we're
It is
answering the
because
damn question.
clearly I said I haven't made a decision. My
Okay,
opinion
all right,
is different
cool,
than yours,
cool,
and you want to
cool,
yell
cool.
over top of
All
me.
right, Ryan. You don't have to. You don't have to go through each one of them. Then there's no point.
This
There's
is
no
what
point.
Chucks does. This is
No,
it.
this is
Somebody
not
had
what I
around.
do.
So
I'm just
I
saying.
made my point, and I'm
just-
done with it.
and you know
and
what?
now I'm ready to move on to the next one.
No, I'm just trying to be fair
But
and
he-
objective here because
You're being
because
fair and objective, and so am I. My objective is, I agree with you.
He
There's
wanted
points
to
he
say
absolutely
the
has disappeared.
Point of the
but I'm going to give.
exercise
I've seen
was
the
whether
talent.
these have been hits or busts so far. Am I correct?
But
didn't you ask?
Did you say
didn't
the
ask
jury can't be out for me? That I have to say 100% one way or the other? No, you didn't. I made my decision, and I said on it, I don't know how I feel about it yet. I am making decisions on every other one,
So
but I'm not
far-
sure yet.
But then, if you're going to make a decision on every other one, why do they
Last
get a
year,
pass?
but if I look
over
at, and I
Derek
know he
Barnett?
got hurt last year, but when he played, he was our most productive defensive lineman in the first 5 games before he got
In the
hurt.
first
And
5
that is
games.
a statistical
Yeah,
fact.
but then also
so he
this
showed
year-
at the start of
but
last
also
year
this year he's
that
been
he
a
can play
disappointment.
well.
He's
Now
He's made
this
one
year,
good
we
play.
haven't seen that. The Super Bowl year, his rookie year, he made plays, but it was his rookie year. Last year, he started really well, and he got hurt. That's on him. This year, we've seen dirty plays, and he's disappeared. At times, he's showed up, or he's at least been around the ball. I'm not saying to disappoint this year, but I saw glimpses of potential there from last year before he got hurt. So I am putting the jury out until I can see 2 full seasons of him in this role. That's my decision on it. You can have your opinion, and I respect yours, even though you don't respect mine.
I respect your take on Barnett. What I'm saying is he's asking a damn question. We're going year by year,
And
so you have to, like, if we're going to go year by year, he's saying, you tell me whether these drafts have been hit or miss.
Then I'll tell you what, I'm
Right?
going to say
Right?
hit then, because I'm not going to call him a bust yet. So I'll say hit then.
Okay. That's
Because
all
I've
I'm saying.
seen plays.
If he's asking,
I didn't.
Oh my
when
God.
do I have to make a decision? But I'm going to say hit
All right.
to appease
All right.
Chucks,
All right.
because I'm not going to call him a bust yet.
that's fine. I'm just saying, let's go by what the exercise is asking.
We
That's
got
all.
here.
So go.
Fuck you, Rams, for taking Jalen Ramsey away from us.
Good answer. All right. Okay.
I love you.
Sydney,
I love you too.
I love you.
Sidney Jones. Jesus.
Bust.
I'm afraid of
Bust.
this.
And let me say this.
Oh, that is a bust.
Bust. Let me say this.
Nobody will disagree with that.
Nobody disagree. And let me say this. As the person that has been defending Sidney Jones probably the most on the show, I am now at the point where it's like, it's done. Like, the Sidney Jones experiment is done. He does not have the mental toughness to play cornerback. He just doesn't. And for me to say that, that's a big thing, because I have defended him as long as I can. But if I'm at that point, then that says a lot. So it's done. It's over with. Sidney Jones is not.
Yeah,
he's a
in
bust.
my eyes, I agree.
Kevin?
The Sidney Jones thing, everything he said, he's not mentally tough. Malcolm Jenkins came out. Listen,
call him out.
I love Malcolm Jenkins, and when that dude's mind is made up on a player, and he gives everybody the benefit of the doubt.
He called Sidney out. He didn't call him out by name. He said, like he was just talking in general.
We know who
but
he's
we know
talking
who
about.
he's talking about.
Kevin?
Sidney Jones might be the worst cornerback in the NFL right now. I would love to see where he ranks overall in the entire league. He might be bottom 5.
Yeah, I'm going to say bust as well. I think
Good
that
answer, Kevin.
at best,
I almost
he's
forgot you were here, Kevin, for a minute. I'm so sorry.
At best, he's
Kevin
a
and I were just looking
rotational
at each
guy.
other like, hey.
And for a guy like that this early to call him a rotational guy is not a good thing whatsoever. Bust all.
Breaking?
I just got breaking news on my Twitter. Twitter.
Way home.
No!
Don't kill
Stop!
me,
No! It just happened. Twitter just sent out a news thing saying Jaguars trade cornerback Jalen Ramsey.
You're
to the
freaking
Rams.
late. You're late. Anyway.
Just now. I'm literally just now they sent that out.
Rasul Douglas in the 3rd round. Oh, God.
I'm gonna say
I'm going to say hit.
hit. It's the same thing as like an Isaac thing. Like it's a hit enough because
I agree.
he's.
If he was a
you know what
safety,
mean?
I would
Yeah.
say hit.
I think eventually, whether it's on this team or another team, that's where he's going to end up. I think he's
Yeah.
a hit, and then I think, especially by the end of it, he will be evaluated. He's had moments. I mean, there was a couple rough moments this year, but I think he's been. And you could correct me if I'm wrong by the advanced metrics, but I feel like just with my eyes, he's been more good and around the ball making plays than bad. He's gotten torched a few times. But
You're talking about
overall,
over this year?
yeah.
Yeah, he's been been more good than bad.
I think he's probably been easily one of your best.
Let me
defensive
he stayed
and
backs.
I'll say this. The 2 touchdowns.
Don't you put that out there,
Hit
Ryan.
the freaking desk. I hit the desk.
The 2 touchdowns to Diggs on Sunday weren't all his fault. Weren't all his fault. So it's Douglas has been fine.
Matt Collins in the 4th. Bust.
Yeah.
Bust.
I forgot he was even on the team until this year.
Yeah, well, he's like a wide receiver too.
And he's not doing anything
He
this year,
doesn't
so-
want to play offense. He wants to play special teams.
Maybe he could be a corner. Maybe he could be a corner. Hey.
Might as well get a use somewhere.
Oh well, this is absolutely a hit. Well, not for the Eagles though. For that XFL team that he's now on, that he got picked in the 7th round. Donald Pumphrey.
Yo, who wants
Is
jerseys?
he on the XFL?
Yeah, he got drafted as XL.
So get outta here.
He's gonna be their Christian McCaffrey, guys. I'm calling it right
Let me
now.
illustrate this.
Let's go.
Let me illustrate this. So for the Eagles, they classified him as a 4th round talent. In the XFL, they have him as a 7th round talent.
That's amazing.
How does that work?
Don't
That
worry.
is amazing.
He's gonna be a
So-
steal for them.
Kevin?
So to clarify a little bit, the XFL draft is a little bit different. The first round is quarterbacks only.
Oh yeah, they go by positions
Yeah,
in each
they
round.
go by position.
I don't give a damn. Did it say 7? Did it say 7?
Huh?
Does it say 7th round?
It does.
He's a 7th round pick.
Oh, my
Bust!
Go ahead. Go next.
I hate him.
Chuck's his favorite Philadelphia Eagles running back of all time.
Because
He
he's
just
the
won't
only.
go. He
he's
just
the
won't
only
go away
Filipino.
either. He's got to go to that freaking. He just won't go away. He's got to sit there, and I got to see articles. Donald Pumphrey, former Eagle, XFL.
Hey,
I don't give a damn.
he's half Asian. It's okay. He can stick around.
What does that mean for me?
We need
Yeah,
more.
what does that mean for me?
We need more representation in football. Okay.
How about Shelton Gibson in the 5th? We think that was good. Chrome, Shelton
that?
Gibson.
Good, thanks. Pass
about-
on that one.
What about? Hey, you need some wide receivers.
Yeah.
Kevin.
No.
Shelton
You
Gibson.
want Shelton
we're
Gibson?
good. We're good.
The
We're getting N'Keal
preseason
Harry back.
superstar.
Honestly, this might be like the best guy so far out of this draft, which is horrifying. Nathan Gary.
No, he's not. Please don't. Please don't. The Nathan Gary. You know what drives
stinks,
me
I know.
crazy?
He stinks.
You know what drives me crazy? Is I've encountered people that have been like, I love Nathan Gary.
Yeah,
he's
on my
always
thread,
he's
on my
always
post.
around the ball. For what? 2 plays? Like, have you seen the other plays? I swear there was one against the Packers on play action where he's literally running away from where the
Yeah.
play side is. Have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, everyone is running to the play side of the ball where the ball is going. He's going the opposite direction, and there are numerous plays like that. He was around the ball for 2 plays out of 6 games.
He did it.
2 plays.
He did the same thing against the Saints last year when we got blown out by like 50 points.
Uh-huh.
He ran the wrong
Wrong way.
He ran the wrong way.
I am not a Nate Gary fan.
And then finally, to finish off the illustrious 2017 draft, Elijah Qualls.
That draft was not good.
He just sounds like a winner too.
That draft was not good.
Sounds like a winner. So that was
Sounds like
the.
a baseball player, like a pitcher.
So that was 2017. Then we get to 2018. Okay. Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, that's
He
a
can play.
win.
He can play.
Yep, that's a good
Yeah.
pick.
So that's like 3 now. That's 3.
Four.
Well,
Four, 5.
let's go. Let's call 3.5 because we don't know. Avonte Maddox, 4th round.
Yes.
I'm giving thumbs up.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
fine. Josh Sweat.
There's one where we're like, okay, wait and see.
We'll
That's
wait. We'll
What
wait.
what I'll say about him, he's made some plays this year where I
Yes.
don't expect. I've seen his name more than I expected to see his name this year.
He's progressing. If I'm gonna make a
But Chucks, we can't wait and see, Chucks.
No,
we
that's
can't
what
go
I'm saying.
year by year if we're gonna
That's
wait
what I'm
and see.
saying.
We
I'm
gotta
saying-
make a decision,
that's
Chucks.
what I'm saying. I'm going to say hit.
I'm gonna say hit.
I'm gonna say hit.
I know. I just had to get Bus's balls because he tried to cop out.
I
Bastard.
think I tried to mock you and it didn't work. I
Matt
guess.
Pryor, 6th round.
He's a backup. I guess it's. I mean, what round was that?
Wait, Matt Pryor's still on this roster?
Yeah, he's a backup.
Ick. 6th round. No,
Bust.
No, we can't
No.
call
I
it.
don't know.
We can't
No.
call it a hit if he
Yeah.
doesn't play.
Yeah.
I don't.
Jordan
think,
Mailata. I don't care if it was in the 7th round. Nobody told Howie to take a freaking rugby guy.
He's the GOAT. I'm taking hit.
Why?
I'm
Because he
going
could sing.
A lot of things.
All right, if we're going to take it into context as the 7th round pick, and that he has a certain ceiling that everyone can see, like, oh, if he learns in a few years, he could be good. I'm going to say hit, but it's a very like you really, really have to like put everything into context. Hit.
That's a bust for me.
You'll never hear me say bust on him. Zach Boylan says Qualls was also drafted to the XFL.
Oh, Jesus.
Howie is a great XFL talent evaluator, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
I think they're just mooching off of Howie.
It just doesn't end for me. It just doesn't end for me.
God.
That's good stuff.
So that concludes the 2018 draft. So then we get to, the 2019 draft. And I get it, ladies and gentlemen. We're only a handful of games in. But we do have some signs of what could be for certain players.
I think the way I'm going to approach it is based on how I evaluated them, if I like their approach in the pick. Like, I'm not going to, like, obviously it's this year's. We can't say, like, if they are busts or studs, but we can say if we still think it was a good pick or not.
And if there's something glaring, which Andre Dillard, it's easy. It's a wait and see, obviously. So we'll move on.
And I'm going to say good pick. I'm going to say
Yes.
good pick.
Yeah, we can't wait and see, Ryan. So we have to say good pick.
I'm sorry. That's good. That's good. Good.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders.
That's
pick.
a good pick.
This guy now.
I'm still going to say good pick.
I'm still going to say good pick.
This is J.J. Arthega blindside.
I'm still going to say good pick.
I'm going to go.
And
with-
yes, I purposely said that.
I know.
He can't get on the field to beat out Mac freaking Hollins.
Yeah, but they also like Mac Collins a lot.
Yeah, I think there's a weird love affair with Matt Collins.
So that means there's more people than in the doghouse than for the
I
Eagles.
still like the pick. I mean, I'll say this. I totally understand that people are frustrated because you got guys like Terry McLaurin and DJ Metcalf who was drafted. They were drafted after him, and they're making contributions. I totally get it. But, I mean, you can say I'm biased, but J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft, and them getting him I was excited, but I also knew that it's going to take a while. Like, with wide receivers, it takes a while for most of them to develop. Just because there's 2 wide receivers in this class that are making contributions doesn't mean that the rest of them have to. You get what I'm saying? Like, I still like, you can still like the pick, but still be frustrated that there are no contributions yet. But you just have to understand that it happens. Like, how many, like Tyler Lockett, Tyler Boyd. There are so many wide receivers out there that are good now in their third years. Chris Godwin, they haven't hit their stride until their third year. And even with, I know how you feel about Nelson, but like, he didn't get over that hump until his third year. 2017. It was his third year.
It's more like he got to the top of the hill and then he tripped and fell back down the hill.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is he didn't finally contribute well until his third year. You get what I'm saying? Like,
fell down an elevator
wide
shaft
receivers,
only
it takes a
his third
while.
year.
Wide receivers, it takes a while.
You also have to realize that a report came out that apparently they've been trying him out or having him line up in 4 different receiving positions along the line. So it's not like he's got a consistent look to even learn a play set for him specifically. It's, hey, why don't we see how you are over here today? Oh, wait, by the way, forget that play. You're over here today. There's no consistency in what you're expecting from him, so he can't really show you anything in the long run.
And to anyone that wants to say, like, who cares? He's still, like, no, like, that's a thing. Like, playing the X, playing the Y, and playing the Z are all different things. They are different positions and along the wide receiver spot that require different skill sets, different responsibilities. So it's absolutely a thing. They're letting him learn.
And the other 2, Sharif Miller again.
I didn't like that pick at all.
And then the other guy, Clayton Thorson's out of the league.
God, I hated that pick.
And nobody liked the pick at the time.
I hated that
pick.
pick.
It was a 5th-round pick.
It was
Hated
a weird
that
pick.
Hated that pick.
And somebody had asked, who was it? I think it was Zach Boylan. No, it was John Malmus. He said, so let me ask, who's in charge of the draft? And this goes right back to
Howie.
Well, it was so funny that everyone was praising Howie and Joe Douglas, and then when Joe Douglas moved on, it was like, oh no. What does Joe Douglas have to show for right now?
No, Joe Douglas, we said this. Joe Douglas set the board, but Howie made the final decision.
Yes.
It's if you want to say, like, okay, Joe Douglas deserves blame because he set the board and, like, how these players are ranked, sure, yeah, and I blame Joe Douglas too, but it's ultimately Howie. And I will say this, and something that really does irk me, all these like draft picks that we see in these middle rounds, and not even just middle round, like 2017, as we can see, was littered with these type of players. All these type of players that were highly productive in college, but lacked outstanding athletic traits. That was their pedigree. Derek Barnett, he broke the sack record for Reggie White's sack record in Tennessee. Donnell Pumphrey, he set the record in was it NCAA record for rushing yards. He broke Marshall Faulk's record or something. That was his legacy in college. And Rasul Douglas has all those numbers. I forget. Like they've put an importance on college production over athleticism, and I have a big problem with that. I've had a big problem with that since they started, but it's showing now. There's no speed on the offense. None of these players, Rasul Douglas or anyone, they're not overly athletic. And in the NFL, yeah, it takes more than being an athlete to be elite, but you have to have athleticism. Look at the elite players in the league. They have at least some degree of great athleticism because you're athletes. It's the freaking pros. You have to be athletic to be able to succeed.
That concludes the list.
Yeah, great list. Exciting list.
We're all still heated.
You got anything over on the YouTube?
I do. I have a lot.
Yeah, get to the YouTube. We've crushed it. Although Ralphie does say, give me $15 million, I'll catch every ball. Okay, Ralphie.
Okay, Ralphie.
You going to stand like a statue in the corner and just catch balls?
We might have you draft for us, Ralph, but I don't know if we have you actually doing
In
activity.
fairness, I may have more confidence in Ralphie getting up yak than Zach Ertz. I'll give you that,
I don't know
Ralphie.
about that.
Oh my god.
I'll give you that, Ralphie.
DJ says, straight up, guys, do you think we'll get Xavier Howard?
I'm gonna be honest.
I don't know.
You know, he's a name that I think a couple
I
weeks
don't
ago
think so.
I felt like could be a real possibility. I don't know that we're gonna get anybody. I like to think that we will, but I don't know. I mean, they took the wind out of my sails big time, and my confidence is very much down.
The reason why I say he's low on that list of cornerbacks is because of his contract. Didn't he just sign a new contract? Am I wrong?
He did, yes.
Yeah. So
It's a
that
big contract, too.
The big contract. That's why he's low on the list. That's going to play a huge factor.
John Malmus, are we looking at coaching being a potential issue? I mean, I'm replacing the offensive coordinator. I've been on that since last year.
And going to the report that Kevin was talking about with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, that they have him running all these different.
That's a problem with the coordinator. If that's true, that's a problem with the coordinator.
And
You need to figure
sucks.
that out.
To me, like everyone that's saying like, oh, this is Groh's offense, like he deserves the blame. This is Doug Peterson's offense, so he deserves blame. But the way I see Mike Groh is like, this. I'm just gonna put it this way: like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing here? What is your purpose? He's adding. To me, it's like he's not adding anything. Like he doesn't boost anything.
Right.
So why are you
Frank
here?
Reich was a whole different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. You know, even if Doug is the one ultimately making the calls,
Like, what are you doing?
what
like,
is he contributing to
What?
anything?
Yeah, like
I don't get it.
what are we excited about? Like, what are you adding to this offense that makes it?
I know who the Eagles are trade for, by the way. It just hit me. It's going to be freaking Adoree Jackson.
Which I'd be okay with. He's still an upgrade.
Because they're losing. They're going down.
Yeah. They just put
And I don't
No,
like
wait, hold
that.
on. But they just
Adam-
put Ryan Tannehill in.
That's right. That's right, baby. Ryan Tannehill stepping up. Let's go. MVP season. Let's go.
Threw 2 picks in the red zone.
Let's go. It's because his team stinks.
Oh, it's not the team.
They
No, it's
couldn't
the team.
catch.
Listen, it wasn't.
Listen, I picked them to win the division, so I'm there with you.
Listen,
I'm there with you.
did he start the game?
No.
No, they brought
Right.
him in the
Yeah,
third.
right.
So the problem is he has to come in that bad juju of that Mariota juju was still left behind. Give it to this week. Let him come in, take over the team, and then you're going to see him fly, and he's going to have an MVP second half. Let's go.
So if I said to you, Adoree Jackson, are we happy with that? Or are we
Happy.
just kind of like, eh?
It can't be the only thing, though. But I'm
well,
happy
God,
with
no.
the upgrade. I'm happy with the upgrade. Yeah.
Like that's where we're at right now, because and plus, because I think the Titans took him in the second round a handful of years ago, so he's not old.
Tom says, grow a sack, Howie. Let's go. Jalen Ramsey was my guy. He's filthy good. I would take Adoree Jackson in a heartbeat. I would too.
Well, here's the issue that comes up is that if they're so stingy with picks to not go out and get top 3 guy in the league now at that age, a younger guy, two first and a fourth, then wouldn't they still be reluctant to give anything up for a guy of lesser value?
Well, no, because that's
Well-
3 picks, and
well,
2 of them are very high.
Let me ask this. Okay,
So-
let's just say hypothetically we don't land. Well, not hypothetically, we didn't land Jalen Ramsey, right? So let's say they didn't want to give up all those picks, but let's say, what if they don't get him, but they end up getting Patrick Pederson for a third and whatever it costs, and get both Pederson and say Xavier Howard or Adoree Jackson? Do you look at then not getting Jalen Ramsey as a failure?
No. Oh, wait, do I still look at it as a failure?
If you get 2 of those guys
Yes, because they're not near the talent as Jalen Ramsey. And they're not as
individually,
young.
but if you can, I get it. But if you can go out and get 2 guys, Xavier Howard's young, you can go out and get him and get Patrick Pederson or Adoree Jackson, and you have had 2 guys to the secondary that is hurting badly. But with a Jalen Mills coming back, with Avonte Maddox coming back, with Ronald Darby coming back, does that soften the blow? Do you look at it as
Yes.
a total loss? And if those guys come in and they're productive,
Yes.
then you say, you know what, Howie, you were a genius. You did the right thing.
No. I misunderstood your question. It compared to, would I rather have that over Jalen Ramsey? No.
Like, to
But-
me, the only thing that makes this acceptable now is if he can go out and get 2 of those guys for less picks that it costs to get 1 Jalen Ramsey.
I still would go with Ramsey.
I would too.
But that's my point. Like,
speaking,
if you're saying like
consolation prize.
Yeah, as a consolation prize, would you be happy, like very happy with what you said? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I would be very, very happy.
Well, I'll give you and I'm not trying to play Madden, but again, if we're talking about combinations and trying to make up for the loss of Jalen Ramsey, if Howie was able to go and contact Tennessee and to get Adoree Jackson and Corey Davis, who he has 2 more years on his deal, this one and the following.
Corey Davis.
He has zero chemistry with Marcus Mariota
I'm
right
a
now.
Corey Davis guy.
I
He's
wanted
24
Corey
years
Davis
old.
so
I love
bad.
Corey Davis.
And his stock is an all-time low because their chemistry, they can't get him the ball out.
Yeah, because the QB sucks. Yeah.
And it's not working with Tannehill. Apparently the chemistry's bad with that. Like, I know this because he's available in every fantasy league in America. And you wouldn't think Corey Davis is like on the waiver wire in fantasy.
See, I'm still keeping him because I'm in keeper leagues. So
No, that makes sense.
His value is really high for the future, but I agree with you. I hope he gets traded.
So if Howie was able to get those 2 for lesser picks, well then, but that's my point to make up for this now, Howie needs to go in bulk, which makes it harder.
Agreed.
And I'm not saying we need a wide receiver, but I'm just looking at options.
I don't know that it makes it harder if he goes to one team, like Ralph put in, getting Von Miller and Chris Harris or going and making the move you were talking about. But if he has to go multiple avenues to pull off multiple trades, it's going to be much more complicated.
Yes.
But he can.
So I agree with that.
I know everyone's riding on Howie right now. And I know everyone's blasting Howie.
Well, deserved.
And I get it. And deserved. But overall, I still believe that Howie can pull off something like that. I absolutely do. So I mean, we'll see.
We have it, but the problem is, do we have a choice but to hope and try to believe that this guy can get it done? Because if the trade deadline passes and this doesn't get done,
it's bad.
This dude is going to be.
You can forget this year. We're not good enough to compete this year.
I forget about the trade deadline. I would argue we've already waited too long as it is.
I mean, I agree with you.
We can't afford to be losing these games.
I agree with you, but I'm
Especially
talking
with
about.
The Cowboys.
Yes,
I agree with you, but I'm talking officially. Once that trade deadline's gone and it's 100% certain that they're not getting it done, that dude will be the ultimate GOAT. And I'm not talking greatest of all time.
You're talking about the other GOAT. Yep.
He will be a dog and not an underdog.
Well, he'll be on the friggin' hot seat. That's what that is.
Oof.
I wouldn't say.
I'm not saying.
I
fire
wouldn't say hot seat.
No. But this is my point.
Unfortunately, the Super Bowl year will buy him time.
If you miss the playoffs this year, you're entering next year where you need to have a great draft with all the picks that you wanted to save. A great offseason to replenish and make your team younger. Now that we have a small window as it is because we paid a handful of guys, you go into next season with now you have a benchmark. Kind of like with Brett Brown and the Sixers, where we all talk about if they don't make the finals, he's out of here. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Howie goes from being, again, at the top of the honeymoon of untouchable to where no matter what happens, he's here to, okay, we're looking at next season, we're talking about expectations. Well, that's the way this works.
Well, the only way to me you can continue to move forward with him and buy him time is if you go out, and I don't care if you have to create a position or whatever it is, the special advisor to the advisor of the fucking general manager, but you need to get someone who is a draft guru, a draft specialist to basically do the draft for Howie. Because that's the only thing. I mean, we know he's the money guy. He can work the cap and he can make magic happen that way. And there has been times, more often I think than not, that he's pulled off trades to bring in talent that has fit this roster. But building the team outside of that, there's a lot of questionable free agent moves that he's made over time. And there's a lot of questionable, almost his entire draft history, pre-chip and post-chip, has been very, very, a lot left to be desired.
Yes.
So something has to be done. If we're going to covet these draft picks, someone who has an idea of what they're doing needs to be the one to make the decisions on them.
Matt Haxon says put Mel Kiper on the books for the Eagles.
Oh, I hate Mel Kiper. I'm not a Kiper guy.
Neither am I.
I don't think Kiper would take it. Honestly, he's got a cushy job. But I'm not a Kiper guy. I think he's kind of a buffoon in a lot of ways, so I wouldn't like that. But give me anybody.
To answer that, I don't know if you remember a few months ago after Joe Douglas left, Howie already got his replacement, Andy Weidel. And remember, he was on the top of my wish list. I do like that hire. So we'll see what happens with Andy Weidel. Andy Weidel is the guy you're talking about. He's the guy that is going to be that football guy. Where he's had a... Oh, God. Calgary just scored. Great.
Lovely.
This is a great night. But he does have a good blend of analytics and football savvy, and he has learned a lot from both Howie and Joe. So we're going to have to see if he can set a good draft board. Again,
Listen, at least we're going to win the game that doesn't count tonight, guys.
Without Simmons, too.
At least.
And Horford.
You got to take something, right?
Over here on Tube, Pete Evans, going back to when I believe you were talking about.
Elliott's starting. That's why that goal was given up.
Wait, why the hell is Elliott starting?
I don't know. Oh, my God. Braun kicked Elliott's pad. That's why
I thought you were yelling that, like, Carter Hart got hurt or something when you yelled, oh, my God.
No. I guess they're just rotating. I don't know why. They had a long break. I don't know what the need for rotating is, but it makes sense.
Pete Evans says, Chucks, don't forget about Debo Samuel and A.J. Brown, talking about, like, guys that the Eagles, I believe, he's saying the Eagles
Debo went before.
Debo went before.
Debo was not on the board. You would have had to not take Miles Sanders in order to get Debo.
Bryce Blackwell says, A2D Radio, we haven't been able to draft since maybe 2009, 2010. From 2010 to 2019, drafting has been piss poor.
Feels that way.
Mr. Wiggins
That sucks.
says, Grow gotta go.
Agreed.
And then NX750 Gaming says, without Ramsey, better get another receiver because we're going to have to outscore the other teams when they score every time they get the ball.
And it's not just if we're gonna get a receiver. It's not just. And I know you guys have all seen this. It's not just about getting another receiver. You need speed.
Yeah.
You need speed.
We got to take a break, guys. We're coming up on it. We got
I figured.
We got about a minute and a half left. Let's just. We'll get back to more of the YouTube comments over on Twitter, Instagram, Periscope. If you guys can, please jump over to Facebook and YouTube. Search a2dradio.com. We'll get to your comments. Continue to chat with you guys. Just making sure there's not anything I missed over here on IG. Nah, it looks like we're good. Yeah, make sure you guys make the jump. Again, our sponsors, Gibson Mayer LLC. Find them on the web, gibsonmayer.com. Our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal. You can find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. That's all I got for the first half. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. We are back Tuesday night, Birds of a Feather, live on a2dradio.com from the Real Talk Studios. Brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC. Our certified public accountants make them yours. GibsonMayer.com. Our topic of conversation, the Philadelphia Eagles will make a move, make a trade for a cornerback. Agree, disagree. That is brought to you by our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy in Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton, New Jersey. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. No appointment needed. Go see our doc. Howie, you're on the clock, buddy. You got about
a little less than an hour.
For us, I think we go to about 10:15. You got 51 minutes, Howie.
And counting.
And counting. We were talking, obviously our show got kind of hijacked in a good way. Not a good way. In a terrible way. But there was a lot to talk about, at least. And it took us away from that shitty Vikings game. That I really could care less if we talk about it. It's been talked about and beaten to death, and it will be this week on A2D Radio. But, yeah, I don't even know. I'm, so defeated.
Well,
Cardinals are getting smoked. The Flyers are losing. We lost Jalen Ramsey. We feel lied to. We feel dirty.
Well, I'll give you this, Chrome. This is via Albert Breer. He says, assuming they don't trade back, the Jalen Ramsey deal means the Rams will go 5 years without a first-round pick. 2017 to Tennessee for Jared Goff. 2018 to New England for Brandon Cooks. 2019 to Atlanta in a trade down. And then 2020 and 2021 to Jacksonville for Jalen Ramsey.
That is interesting. I mean, they're all in, though. That's what you do when you got a chance.
Not winning right now, but they're also winning more recent than us.
Sure, agreed.
They're going to be mediocre for a long time.
I had a couple comments on over here, too, on the Facebook. Bill Stopfer, he says, Sidney Jones, hype is no more.
Sucks.
Stinks.
He's out.
Lawrence Casanova says, any truth on Chris Harris and Von Miller from Denver to us for the same we would give up for Ramsey?
It's all rumor.
He read it on Bleeding Green, he believes.
Wait, is that like a rumor now that's going around?
Is that an old one?
No, yeah, I believe it was before they won or before they started to win, and they said that now, wait a minute, we're not trading anybody.
Yeah.
At first it was, hey,
Elway said,
about it.
Elway said, they're trying to win games, they're not trading anyone. But, again, it could be GM talk.
Yeah.
The Jags GM said the same thing.
Well, no, their owner did. The GM didn't want Ramsey because of the locker room issues. The owner said, wait a minute. He's my favorite player. I bought 3 of his jerseys. I got to keep him.
All right. Well, still, the kid. That could be the case, but we don't know for sure. So
I don't know, guys. I'm hurting.
Trey Thomas on Twitter said the Rams gave up 2 first-round picks and a 4th. Our last 2 first-round picks were Dillard and Barnett. Our last 3 fourth-round picks were Sharif Miller, Josh Sweat, Matt Collins, and Donnell Pumphrey.
Yeah.
He also says he's going to bed.
Sleep tight. Sleep tight. It says a lot, guys. We're
Trey Thomas, who is an awesome follow, by the way. Awesome follow. On Twitter.
He is a very good.
You know who's a bad follow? Howie Roseman.
He's on Twitter.
No, just following anything he freaking says.
Just following his freaking life right now. Where do we want to go? It's Cowboys week.
Great. Well, guess what? They better freaking win now. They already needed to win. Now they better win.
It's Cowboys week, guys, so let's dive into that.
Yo, can you imagine the uproar if we go into Dallas on Sunday, lose, and Dak Prescott throws for over 400 yards?
I'm almost expecting it.
Breaking news. Ryan Tannehill to start for the Tennessee Titans, baby. Oh, my God. We got feedback. God. Jesus, Chuck.
Just leave it. Bye, Chuck.
Let's go.
Are you Got me excited for nothing.
I'm sorry, Ryan. Ryan's upset because I didn't let him play the breaking news bet. I apologize.
I'm upset because I thought it was something to happen.
I knew I'd get him going with that one. Let that go. I'm
going to let it freaking go, all right.
Bring it on, baby. Bring it on.
That's enough. Don't even look at me. I thought that was it. I thought Howie listened to me. I thought that was we told him 51 minutes, he took 5.
It's not over yet.
Oh, it's freaking over
We still
now.
got 45 minutes.
Do we? Kevin.
All right, guys. Cowboys week. Tough week, obviously, against Minnesota. Terrible week against Minnesota. Secondary was a disgrace. The defense in general was a disgrace.
Oh, we are talking about Vikings?
No, I'm just.
That was it.
That's about as far as we're getting into.
Okay.
We're not getting deep into this one, guys. We don't need to. We know what we saw. It kind of fed into the first topic of something needs to happen, but I believe we are getting Jalen Mills back this week, right? It's looking that way.
We're going from burnt toast to lightly burnt toast.
There's
Wonderful.
It seems like there's more and more optimism about Deshaun coming back this week.
Yeah, I think he plays.
Which that is a positive.
But he hasn't practiced yet.
He hasn't practiced yet, but
So-
it seems like he's feeling really good. Let's hope, because that is a huge addition. Whether you want to look at Jalen Mills, I do. Jalen Mills is an upgrade over what's out there now.
Yeah,
Having
yeah.
Deshaun out there changes the dynamic of the offense.
I
So,
absolutely. You guys know how I feel about Jalen Mills, but I absolutely welcome him back. Like, at this point, you just need stability.
You-
You need something that's serviceable. I do not want Craig James out there on the outside.
Yeah, you
I'm
can't.
sorry,
Dumb
but
question.
You can't not welcome him back
yeah,
with the situation
I'd
as
gladly
it is.
take him back.
And I'm not trying to say that this guy would have made a huge difference, but just honestly a question.
Flyers with a 1 minute, 57-second 4-on-3. So let's
There's
get a
another
goal
power play.
here.
During our crisis
Yes.
at the secondary position, all of that game against the Minnesota Vikings, where was Orlando Scandrick, who people were saying was
Not
the new
playing.
Patrick Robinson? Like, why do we not go to him? I'm not saying he's
Right. We're not crowning this guy as
But-
anything, but
I mean, it's better than. I mean, at least he had a great game against the Jets, and I get it. It was the Jets, but still,
I don't know. I don't have
it's
the
a
answer.
veteran.
I don't have the answer for you. I don't know.
I don't think Howie does either. I don't think anybody does. I don't think Jim does. Doug, anybody? Like, Jesus, man,
Who came in for Sydney when he got
Craig James.
Craig
hurt?
James.
Craig James. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just gonna say two quick things on the Eagles-Vikings game. One, I think I said it earlier. We need more speed because, and even though this does make me happy, it also does make me sad. The fact that Miles Sanders has had the only explosive plays for the Eagles this season with Deshaun being out. The only player for that has gotten plays of over, I think, 20 yards or 30 yards. Like, when it's only one player and he's a running back, and you can't get any explosive plays from your tight ends or wide receivers, that's a problem. You need more speed. You need more explosive plays. That's my one takeaway. Two, to anyone that's excusing and giving Jim Schwartz a pass and saying, oh, he can't work with this type of talent, you have no clue what you're talking about. Like, you really don't. And it's really pissing me off that he's getting a pass from some people because he is absolutely part of the problem.
I agreed.
Absolutely part of the problem. When you have a lack of talent, your job as a coach is to put that lack of talent in the best possible position to hide their deficiencies. Am I right or am I wrong?
Coach them up.
Correct. So why are you putting these guys in bad situations and bad coverages? I feel like a broken record. Have I been saying this all year? I feel
Yes.
like every week I say this.
Yes.
Like, why are you putting these players in these situations? And it just makes me more mad because I'm hearing more and more people say and defend him and saying, "Oh, he's a good coordinator. It's not his fault." Damn right, it's his fault. He deserves blame too, as much as blame as the corners do. He absolutely does. When one, you're playing too much cover 3 that puts these outside corners on an island. That's one problem. And two, when you do put in the rare occasions where you do different coverages and your guys aren't coached up well enough to know what their assignments are, that's coaching too. That's absolutely coaching. So it really pisses me off, again, that I have to go on here for another week and say that Jim Schwartz is not doing a good enough job as a defensive coordinator. He deserves blame. If you disagree, you do not know what you're talking about. Look at what they're doing or what they're not doing on defense. It's not just the corners. It's also coaching, just as much as anything else.
I just want to take note. That was 2 quick points from Chucks.
2 quick points from me.
So I told you guys. Go ahead, Crum. By the way,
I just want to say, because John Malmus is on to it, Howie is 0 for 2. Because we forget that he missed on Clowney as well.
Yep. And they gave away nothing.
Nothing for Clowney.
Barely anything, yeah.
A couple picks and a bunch of scraps.
It seems like forever ago at this point, but it's really not. This is now 0 for 2 for Howie this season. So let's keep tabs. Let's not forget about that, fans.
So I told you guys before.
And Bill says that he says he can't believe he's saying this, but he hopes that Cooper is out this.
So do I.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
didn't
It looks
practice.
like it's going that way.
It's going up, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
Looks like all three of them are going to be out.
who's
Leal and then the.
Oh yeah, the 2 tackles will be
Yeah,
out.
and then Cooper doesn't look good. And I'm not. Again, I don't root for injuries, but
No, yeah, we're just saying
it's going to help us
yeah,
win.
I was gonna say.
No disrespect. So I said to you guys before, we came up with like a little fantasy trade with the Titans and everything, to where we would target now Adoree Jackson and Corey Davis, kind of like a 1-2 punch type of a thing. So I had my research team over on my phone. They did a little analysis, okay? Here's what they come up with. You tell me if you agree or disagree with this. And he also has they have a trade proposal too. I don't vouch for this. This is just my team that's saying this.
This is Brodo's scouting team
Yes,
over here.
yes,
Talent scouting.
Just
team.
hired them about 5 minutes ago, so I don't know if they suck yet. So we're going to find out. Okay, we're going to see if they should be fired, along with possibly Howie Roseman. Hey, they might be better than the Philly scouting team. You never know. It's not that hard.
You ain't wrong.
No. So my team says both first-round guys playing not up to par. Davis is a young deep threat receiver, which is a huge upgrade over Deshaun Jackson. Adoree is playing in an off year. Both are due for new contracts, which, knowing they're dropping production this past season, is affordable for Howie. Their trade proposal is our first, a third, Nelly, and maybe Sydney.
Can we back it up?
Yeah. I'm just reading what's on the prompter.
This is for both of them?
Yes.
Did you caught it, right?
Yeah.
Did he just say that Corey Davis is an upgrade as a deep threat over Deshaun Jackson?
I just read. I didn't say I vouch for it. I just read.
It is your team, though.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say I disagree.
So why?
And that is an upgrade as a deep threat.
Maybe
over
he's
Deshaun
saying that because
Jackson.
Deshaun's hurt right now.
I guess.
Which, yeah.
I mean, he could
Anyone's
be
better than nobody playing.
I mean, if he's an upgrade over Mac Hollins, then I mean, I'll give you that. I'll nod the cap to that one. But
So
I mean,
sorry.
Corey Davis we like.
Sorry,
is he an upgrade over Nelson?
Yes. Absolutely.
That's what the point
Absolutely.
should have been.
That's what it should have been.
So I was confused by
Sorry.
that. But
The minute he said that, I didn't hear anything else. I'm like,
can you go back and read us
From
the
there
trade proposal? We're gonna do our own revisionist history.
Terry
of this.
Hatcher.
We're gonna assume instead of saying he's an upgrade over Deshaun, we're gonna assume that he said Nelson
That he's going to
Yeah.
say no.
or
Okay.
Mac
Okay.
Collins.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Listen,
Let's just put
I'm
that
sure.
in.
Let's go
I'm sure
from-
my team. There's a lot going on.
Let's
in the
go-
offices.
Okay,
You know
that's
what I mean?
fine.
It's off
Okay,
hours.
know.
all right.
That's fine.
We
So-
can overlook it. We can
Yes.
overlook it. Okay.
Yes.
So let's
Listen, a lot of stuff's going on. We understand.
over at the Brodo Sports Agency.
Well,
over
no, we
here.
don't. Listen, my name's not on it yet. Again, this is just I hired him 5 minutes ago.
He did say my team.
He did.
Maybe. Okay.
But all right. So let's go back.
They're
Okay.
interns. It's fine.
Let's assume they said better an upgrade over Nelson, and we'll move forward past that
Yes,
point.
yes.
Reread that portion.
So after that, both are due new contracts, which, knowing they're dropping production this past season, is affordable for Howie. Their trade proposal is our first-round pick, a third, maybe, it says, Nelson, and maybe Sydney.
I would make that deal.
I would absolutely make that deal.
I would make that.
I don't know if the
work.
Titans do, but I would absolutely make that deal.
Derek Walters says he thinks Jackson is not that good, and he thinks we would have the same problem we have now.
Nope.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Disagree. Respectfully disagree. Like I get what you're saying.
He's a big upgrade
He's
over what
had-
we have right now.
He's had his struggles, especially this season, but he's shown a lot more than 90% of the corners we have now.
No, and I think a guy like that with the talent he has, a change of scenery could be much
good,
better for
beneficial.
him too.
Just like Corey Davis.
Yep.
Change of scenery.
By the way, because my team is now texting me, they're panicking. They're saying that I'm throwing people under the bus. Did I ever say their names?
No.
Did I?
No.
Maybe
No.
Maybe my team should learn to listen. Listen.
I feel like the team is the fix. But
No, because they're now fired.
Not the fix, the fired.
Yes. They are now the fired.
I make as far as their proposal, I would make it in a heartbeat. I don't know if we can get that done with
Yeah,
that. Though.
I don't know. I mean, like, at this point, Sidney Jones, anything? Like, I don't know if he adds any trade value at the moment.
Like he
so.
literally might be at the point where addition by subtraction may have to be a guy.
Why you just shoot
May
it?
have to be a guy you might have to dump at some point.
Could it be Darby? Like, maybe if it's not Sidney, maybe it's one of our other guys?
Sure, yeah.
I feel like everyone's just going to be like, yes, 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 yes. Like, there's nobody we're going to be like, no, we can't. We can't.
Not in
Absolutely.
that secondary.
It's so funny, too. Because
You know what's weird? You're probably gonna crucify me. I don't know that I would give up Jalen yet, just because I do think he could be such a strong red zone presence, more than possibly anybody in that secondary.
If there's anybody that I would think twice about keeping,
Sure.
it would be Mills.
Me too. And with this being
I know.
the quote unquote bend not break type of defense, and we talk about it, he does fit that red zone defense that they do covet or seem to focus on.
I almost don't give up anyone out of the secondary just because of the way that the injuries are in the secondary. Yeah, as far as
So you wouldn't give up anyone. Craig James, Orlando Scandrick, Sidney Jones.
Do you want Sidney Jones?
I'm not saying
You
I
want Sidney
want
Jones?
them.
How about this?
I'm
We'll
not
give
saying
you
I want
Sidney
them.
Jones.
How about this? We'll trade you Sidney Jones for Michael Bennett.
There
Your
you go.
boy, Michael
you
Bennett.
Want it? You want him?
No.
You want? No. Hold on. Wait. Knowing Bill Belichick, he will probably turn Sidney Jones into
he'll
the
be
next Stephon Gilmore.
Oh, it's like the rumor about them possibly targeting Nelson. Like, Nelson's going to be the next Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we just know if he goes to the Patriots.
I don't want him.
Oh, don't you dare.
No, I
Don't you
want him.
Don't you
I said
disrespect
that
me.
to Crow,
Don't you disrespect me.
Pre-show. Yeah, no.
Steve
Thank you.
Sherwood says Zach Brown for nothing. It still makes no sense.
It's weird. It's weird.
Zach Brown for nothing.
When
They probably were one. Okay. He did not. He hasn't had a good year at all. Everything we said about him at the Redskins, he hasn't lived up to it. So let's stop acting like he's been like crazy good in terms of depth. I understand that you're like people are like, okay, like we barely have anyone, and Nigel Bradham is in a boot, but at the same time, like he hasn't even been. There are plays where he's showed half-ass hustle and let's say effort. Okay.
7-4.
What's the what?
Sorry, baseball game.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
There are numerous plays where he's shown half-ass effort on in terms of pursuit and getting to the ball carrier. So when you're not playing to the full extent of giving your 100%, and you're not even producing like you should be, you're gonna be gone, and they're going to invest in other guys like T.J. Edwards. In the limited snaps he played last week, he popped off the tape. Nathan Gary, we were talking about Nathan Gary. I don't like him. Kamu is ready. I like Kamu, so I'm gonna be speaking highly of Kamu for a while. So I mean, and then you gotta add in the fact that they like playing Malcolm Jenkins as another linebacker. So to them, Zach Brown's reputation isn't worth keeping him on the roster just for depth. So they're going to get rid of him. I'd have no problem with it.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying, though. My point is, you obviously hear reports that there's numerous teams that have heavy interest in him immediately. I'm not saying they didn't try and do this, but given the timing and how quick it was, I doubt they did. Why not try and trade him for a sixth-round pick? Since we know Howie Roseman loves his
something
picks.
for him.
Give him for a freaking seventh. Anything. Get him for anything. Cash whatever. Just so we can have some
Cash
value.
considerations.
You know what I'm saying? A football. Anything. A freaking shoe. I don't care. An extra boot for the next injured player. I don't give a damn.
Michael Bennett.
Yeah, Michael Bennett.
Put a trash can on a Roomba.
A Friendly's coupon. I don't care. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Cheese stick.
A Wawa gift card.
Yo, there's a lot of value in that.
You know what I'm saying? A free autographed T-shirt by Howie Roseman. Like, what do you? You know what I'm saying? We have stuff here. We'll take them in.
We have
Take it in.
I can't. This shows today's show is too much. I get what you're saying, and Point taken.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a missed opportunity, but
I feel it was just pettiness. Like Jim Schwartz was like, "Oh, get him out of here," and Howie's like, "Oh, okay, Tim, okay, Tim,
we'll make him the scapegoat because he fired up Kirk Cousins, and that's why we lost.
okay, Jim, I'll go back to play with my calculator in the freaking closet."
I can't forget.
Steve added, especially when you're going against Zeke, plus Nigel is out.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing it when we got to defend the run. When he was good, it was against the run, and we got to defend the run.
Sometimes.
And now we're taking away from the defense.
No, but he wasn't as good as people think. That's my point. You think he was good. You think he was good based on reputation, but he really
But
wasn't.
Chuck's, at least he's alive. Nobody's there. You understand?
At least
Yeah,
he's
I get
alive.
it. I get it. What I'm saying is, I think they've seen enough from T.J. Edwards, the rookie, to say they prefer investing in him over guy who someone who's being lazy right now.
Give the
Zach
play
Brown.
time to somebody that
Deserves it. Thank you, Kevin. That's
Do you
that's
guys
the
need a
point.
linebacker?
Do I?
Huh?
Do you guys need a linebacker?
What I'm saying is
Have you
it
seen
going to
our
pay?
defense?
I'm not saying it's
never
going to
know.
pay off. I'm not saying it's absolutely the right decision. I'm just saying, like, I don't mind it because I can understand it, and we'll see how it goes. So, I mean, the linebacker isn't really an important position here anyway.
Cowboys will probably go pick him up, and he'll stuff our run.
I'm
Yeah,
waiting
watch
for it.
that.
I'm waiting
Watch,
for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for it to
They'll
happen.
cut Sean Lee. Sean
way-
Lee will come here and he'll suck.
The way this
Zach
week
Brown will
is
go
going,
there, and
There
he'll
you
be
go.
awesome.
the way this week is
By the
going,
way, by the way, can we just bring up the fact that Jordan Hicks, who has not been hurt yet, has been absolutely great for the
How about that?
Arizona Cardinals.
And we got,
I just
we
want to
got-
throw that in
we
there.
got Eagles
I just
experts
wanna throw
saying that, like, oh, it really shows the value of Jordan Hicks. Really? I wonder why.
I mean, I'm not.
What the hell happened
I don't
to
have
us?
regrets.
What the hell happened?
I don't have any regrets of not signing him because we know like the issue with him, but it's ironic. It's just adding fuel to the fire. And, like, Jordan Hicks is having a career year for the Cardinals.
a healthy career year.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so funny.
Oh, by the way, Bill's dropping paragraphs. By the way, Bill, I don't know if, oh, no, he's talking about Patrick Peterson still. I was going to say, Bill, I
still
swear to
talking
God, if somebody misspells Doug Peterson, say one more time, I'm going to throw something. I hate it. But I think he's still talking about Patrick.
Yes.
Patrick Peterson.
If we do
I almost
get,
jumped.
He says if we do get Peterson, I'm going to be very happy. It's a cheaper option. Talent to Ramsey or a coin flip other than age. He's only the 13th player in history to make the Pro Bowl every year. He's played all 128 games since he
Didn't
was
he say
drafted.
this an hour ago?
Howie,
I
go
didn't
get
know.
2 cornerbacks for less than Ramsey.
Did
That
he-
would be awesome.
Did he copy and paste?
He might have changed a word or two in there.
It's like when you copy someone's essay for school and you copy and paste, but then you just change.
He's like double texting. He's double texting. Oh, not sure if you got it. So here, I'll send it again.
Derek Walter says our GM has gotten lazy.
He thinks he's a celebrity because you won something like 2.5 years ago.
I do worry that a lot of his – I do think a lot is going to his head because he's been anointed this cap guru and a lot of that. And with – let's be real, the magic that he pulled this season prior to the season to open up the space that he did when they were in cap hell is something to be commended. That being said, you need to utilize that in a big way, and I don't think he's managed to do so, aside from maybe the Carson extension.
It's like he's doing 50%
I mean,
of the
Deshaun,
work.
but Deshaun's not healthy.
And we look at the Deshaun thing, and this is not really his fault. It's more of a coordination, it's a coordinator, kind of concern. And honestly, Doug Peterson thing, we see that their entire offense was built around Deshaun Jackson, who nobody in this city could confidently say would be playing all 16 games and then some. Like, we knew he was going to be hurt at some point because that's just who Deshaun Jackson is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't get why an entire offense is built around one guy and that one guy is not the quarterback. You understand? Like, it's a deep threat. Like, Deshaun Jackson, he's great, but it's not even like he's a volume guy. He's not our wide receiver one.
I'm surprised, and you can say this is 2020 vision. That's fine, but we should have. You would think they would have. After last year when we lost our deep threat Mike Wallace in week 2, and then we didn't have a deep threat for the rest of the year. you would have thought that they would have learned their lesson and said, let's go get another speed guy, to back up Deshaun Jackson. You thought that would have been smart, but I guess it's not. Like, I guess they didn't learn from that lesson.
Speaking of Deshaun Jackson, received another fax from my team, my former team for 5 minutes. They would like to clarify the whole Deshaun Jackson analysis.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Okay.
He says, hey, well, first they said, hey, they like my deal. That was their trade.
If we could get it done, I like it for us.
Yeah.
Then they also say, and yes, I said Deshaun Jackson because he's hurt at the moment. Could also be said for wide receiver 3, 4, and 5. So they're saying Corey Davis is better because he's on the field.
I mean,
but of course.
That's
Of course.
You could say that about anybody and
You
anywhere.
I could say that about
Yeah,
friggin'
that's-
Kevin. I could say that about Kevin.
Yeah, like
You can run straight.
That
right?
logic
right.
is
Yeah.
that logic is saying Ralphie is an upgrade
Well, no, it's not good.
over Deshaun Jackson
happening.
because Ralphie
you
could
sure?
stand on the field, and he himself said, "Hand me $15 million, and I'll catch every ball thrown to me."
By the way, where
So-
can I sign up for that just for my own sick entertainment?
I'm just saying, that is the logic.
Dress
Put
him
out.
up in the
That's the
friggin'
logic
outfit
of
and
what
just
happened.
have him go.
I do have a vision of Ralphie Delavecchio out on the field right now.
Oh,
catching
it's going to
football.
happen. We're going to get – Tom and I have been talking. We're going to get a flag football game coming soon. And Ralphie's
We
absolutely
should
playing.
get like an A2D combine.
Oh my God.
Ralph running the 40.
Look what you did.
Can I – wait, no. Can I need to see him running the 3 cone.
Well, he's going to get a cramp then. He's getting a cramp then.
Hydrate, Ralph. Just make sure you hydrate first.
with the vertical jump.
In fairness, Chuck's vertical jump would only go about as high as
Yeah.
our heads.
Yeah.
You need a ladder.
Chuck's
I would have – I might have like
Chuck's
one of
would
the
have
highest –
to vertically
yeah.
jump off of a ladder
Yeah.
or a
Oh,
step
yeah.
stool.
I might have the highest like off the ground, but then I'll still only get as high as
let's-
tall as
Let's do this
you.
for a second to escape our misery from the real life. Who do you think would have the best combine out of all the A2D guys? Like on-air personalities.
Well,
It's
who-
weird
Because
'cause I don't
because I
know
want
who
obviously I would want to say McGuckin, but he's
McGuckin.
he's not tech. You know what I'm saying? Like he's on the bubble.
He's on the
And plus it
bubble.
wouldn't be fair.
Oh, he's
like
on the
McGuckin.
bubble. Okay.
Yeah. Like on
that's
shows. There's not a lot of options.
My vertical is not bad. I could do I could do about 9 feet.
I can
vertical.
jump. I can jump.
Yeah,
Former
I can
basketball
do
player.
that.
2-time
I can do a
middle
little
school
over.
champion right
Oh,
here.
God.
I did it at the Franklin Institute a couple weeks, like a month or two ago.
Oh, so you're in shape. Good.
If round is
It's
a shape,
recent.
then
You know what I'm
yes.
saying?
I guess enough shape. I used
Yeah.
to be able to touch rim at 10. And I couldn't dunk, but I could
Bill-
dunk at 9.5 and touch rim at 10.
Phil said instead of the 40, Ralphie running the 4 is more like it. Just the 4.
All right, we're not gonna roast Ralphie the whole time.
He was taking shots at you though.
Well, that's true. Fuck you. That's true. You're right. I forgot about that. Take shots at my team. Sorry, Ralph, you crumb.
Oh, hey, TTP, how are you? TTP, who do you think out of all the A2D personalities would have the best combine? I mean, let's go down the...
See, I don't know. I
Clanky.
honestly, I've never seen anybody.
I haven't seen him. I don't.
I've never seen
Daly, does
anybody
Daly
do
still-
athletics. I mean,
I feel like I would hold my own. I would.
I think I could do okay.
Yeah, I feel like I'd do all right.
I think I'd do all right.
I mean,
I don't know that I'd win, but I'd be up there.
not to toot my own horn, but I still take martial arts classes 3 times.
But
a
that's
week.
not... Is that a combine
But
thing?
we do exercise stuff. Like I work out and
See,
I do a lot of cardio.
yeah, but it's weird. It depends on, but it depends
on the
on what you do.
workout.
Like I used to play in an adult dodgeball league, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was definitely not in the shape of like my 20-year-old employee, and I was like in my late 20s. And I bought him to do dodgeball with us.
Yeah.
And dude was gassed
Yeah.
way before I was.
Yeah.
And he was like an athlete who went and played basketball, which you would think
It's
the
different,
cardio
yeah.
for that, but it's different.
It's different. Yeah.
You know, it's different
I would-
agility and different things like that you're using, different
I would-
muscles.
I feel like I would do fair enough in like the short, like a what you call it, 10-yard.
Chuck's a
10-yard, like, because I don't have good long speed, but I have burst, and then I can in the shuttle drills.
What are we
that's all I
talking
do.
about here?
Are we
So-
still talking about the combine?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The 10-yard split.
Shorten the
I don't
burst.
think you picked up on how
I
you
did
worded
very
that.
big on the split, but Like,
All right, so
okay,
you're in the
you-
top percentile.
You also have to remember that Chucks is bringing the guns over to the bench.
Oh God, no.
Jeff
Yeah.
No,
Lohmeyer.
I don't. I cannot live for anything.
Jeff Lohmeyer says Ralph matched up with Sydney. He believes in Ralph, buddy.
He also says you guys should hold an A2D draft combine, punt, pass, place kicking competition,
Punt,
40-yard
pass,
dash.
I'd be terrible at
Ralphie's
that.
the new Andy Reid.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Bill says, "You guys ever watch that old movie, The Wildcats? Ralphie would be that guy. I don't know.
I don't know
who
that
is.
movie.
I do know. Have you ever seen The Longest Yard?
Yes, can of corn.
Oh yeah, can of corn.
No, I was gonna say anybody who Ralphie is.
Brucey's time to shine, baby.
Well, no, Ralphie's Joey Diaz.
Almost went down.
Joey Diaz. Which one?
Go on your phone, search Joey Diaz Longest Yard.
Are you talking about the new longest shot or
Yes.
the newer?
Yes.
Which one was Joey Diaz?
Oh, you'll know exactly who Joey Diaz is. You'll know exactly who it is. Chucks, go ahead.
Oh yeah, can of corn. That's what we were just
Yeah,
saying.
that's
Can
Oh,
of
okay.
corn. Can of corn.
Yeah.
The guy where they're running and he's a million miles back. He's just dying out in the desert.
That was
You
one
guys
of the
better come back for me
He's just like
and bring me a Coke.
can of corn.
Can
Can
of corn.
Well, it was Coke in the new one.
No, it was corn.
No,
Can of
corn.
corn.
Can of corn.
Why is he asking for corn? He's dying out in the desert.
That's what's so funny.
TTP says you'd all do horrible.
Probably.
We're not
If we're
disagreeing.
measuring by like NFL standards, I would be.
Oh,
that awful.
absolutely. Yeah.
We're just saying who
I'm
would be
still
the best
somewhat of
out
an
us.
athlete. I play basketball and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Listen, I'm a 5'2".
I mean, I'm definitely like 25 pounds overweight, but
Soccer,
I can
baseball,
lose that. I know. I don't look my
golf,
weight.
I love
believe me.
tennis.
tennis.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm there. I'm there.
You do all right.
No, I feel like I would. I've got youth on my side too.
Well, you
So-
also.
I just don't know if you have the cardio
you-
because
you
a lot of what
also-
you do
Oh no,
is
cardio is not my issue.
Yeah, cardio. You also like are the weight of like a feather. So I mean, like you have the high. You have
150
the
flat,
dynamics,
baby.
man.
I love it.
Like you
I
would
love it.
blow.
That's
If it's a
gross.
windy day and we're doing this outside, the wind's gonna carry you. And
There
actually,
you go.
like,
There you go. Listen, I bring it on. I'm always ready. I'm always in game shape. I'm ready. I can't. Anybody on all the other shows? I don't think like AM and the PM. No.
I don't know.
Tom would say yes. I feel like
the soccer
Oh,
guys
well,
would probably
Jock-
might do well.
Yeah.
Jake and Tyler. I mean, they look like
I
they're.
don't know if Jake's coordinated.
Again,
don't
we've
know.
never seen them play sports.
The soccer guys might do well.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
They
There you
might
go.
blow us all out of the
I don't know
water.
if any of the hockey guys. No. I don't want to see Cincinnati run the 40. I don't want to see.
I do. I just.
I mean,
wanna
I
see-
do.
I just want to
do.
see the hair flying.
Yeah, that's
in the
my
wind.
point.
Yeah.
Does Daly play hockey at all?
I don't believe so.
No. Okay.
He tries to play golf, but he's not good.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's round it back in.
We
It's
went
Cowboys week. We
so
got way
much of a
off the hinges. It's Cowboys week. Cowboys coming off of a huge loss to the Jets. Huge loss,
Woo.
which technically puts us still in first place for the time being. Do we want to do? Do we really do score predictions on here? Not really.
No, but we might need to
No, if you want to, we can.
change up the friggin'
Depends on the game.
climate in the room.
We
Yeah.
just say- can
Well,
I just
that's
say?
why I put the bobbleheads
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
Can I-
we need change right now.
I just want to read this one comment.
Yeah.
Pete Evans says, "I'm in the gym 3 to 4 times a week." So I think Pete could do well in the bench press.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
there you go.
Jeff called somebody a national treasure. I don't know who, but somebody's a national treasure.
Yeah, so we were saying looks like Amari Cooper might be out this week.
It's not looking good.
They may be missing their tackles this week.
They will be
You
missing
would
the tackles.
think that would give the defensive line a little bit of something. Maybe Derek Barnett could step up this week.
Michael Gallup is a big fantasy play for me.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still
Absolutely.
very good. I think he's good too.
I think he's good too. Yeah, I agree. I think he's a very good wide receiver.
Second year guy.
Mhm.
He's good.
And it seems like Dak is gaining some trust in him as well,
Yeah.
which helps for them. But
All I know is they better change up their game plan versus stacking the box like they did to stop Cooks and leaving everything else wide open.
yeah,
Like our
have
fear
we
was.
not been saying that? I just went on a quick rant, quote unquote,
Okay.
about that. I don't think it's changing.
I
It's
just
not
need,
soon.
I just need it to be said again.
Yeah.
Just hopefully they hear us.
so the keys to the game, gentlemen. Whoever wants to go first.
Well, I think first and foremost with this, like you have got to stop Zeke because I think, and then that's so obvious, but it's different from last week in the sense that like the Cowboys are so reliant on Zeke, and with no Amari, it's like you kind of want to force Dak to throw. And I get it. We have a horrible secondary. I get it. And it's very possible he throws for 400 yards. I get it. But as opposed to the opposite where Zeke is running on us for 200 yards and then Dak has all day off play action.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's you have to at least take away Zeke and then force Dak to not rely on play action windows like he always does. Because if we're stuffing the run, that play action is not going to be as effective. And then you're going to force him into more mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's stop the run. Stop the run.
Stop the run. Take advantage of the tackles being out. Get pressure on the quarterback and make
Pressure
him
on the edges,
have to make quick decisions.
Yeah.
Because he is not very good when he has to make a quick
I
decision.
think pressure, not just because the tackles are out, because that absolutely that adds to it. Like you have to take advantage of that. But when you play someone like Dak, who has that mobility, but doesn't have great pocket presence, pressure off the edges is very important. So you have to contain him and force him to step up. Because if he's going to step up, he doesn't have great pocket presence. It's gonna. You want that instead of him rolling out into to the boundary.
For me, it's really them just being more physical and keeping guys in front of them. I mean, if you know you have a weaker defense, especially in the secondary goes, and you have a more bend don't break, you need to not break. And how do you do that? You have to keep everybody in front of you, force the short throws. I'm okay if they have 5, 6, 7 yard plays and everything's thinking dunk over the middle, but because you're going to wear out your offense, especially with the line that they've got, and not giving up the big play, keeping your offense off the field to keep those guys healthy, or fresh, I should say, since they're not healthy, is something that they haven't done and need to start doing, given if they're not going to bring anybody in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to get off to start, some kind of start on offense. And,
Yes.
And Doug even said, and I've been wondering this the last handful of weeks, maybe it's time to stop deferring. Like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I get it, and I was a big fan of it, especially in 2017, of, getting off to a hot start and then having that, that backbone of getting off to the, kind of making the adjustments at half and then getting off to the hot start in the second half. But when you're starting out games being down 7-0, 10-0, 13-3, whatever, you're setting the tone for the entire game, and you're forcing your offense to abandon the run by default because you have to start passing, because you have to start scoring quick, and then you just throw your entire game plan out. Eventually, and when you look at the defense too, you're getting the opposing offense off to a good start by scoring any points, whether it's 3 or 7.
Yeah.
And we look at it as fans as if we give up 3 at the first drive of the game, I almost look at it now as a success, which is horrible. Because I shouldn't be satisfied by giving up any points.
And that's something I say to you every week, because we have, when we watch games, I say, it's the bend not break, and people say, I'm okay with giving up. I'm not okay with giving up any points.
No.
I don't love this bend not break thing. I know that they're usually pretty good in the red zone. That being said, I don't want them to get to the red zone. I want the football back.
Agree. I mean, I get it. I mean, we've been talking of Jalen Mills and how he's monster inside the red zone and he fits the ideal bend but don't break. But if you don't want that type of defense, then you're gonna have to. It's one or the other. You know what I mean? But I understand where you're coming from, and it's a very valid argument. I still am reluctant because, one, I like the idea of putting the ball in your offense's hands after you're able to make adjustments, because that could be a turning point in and of itself, and that's a huge momentum thing. Like Bill Belichick does it all the time, and for good reason. When it comes to the defense, and not being able to stop the opponent, and then like you're behind the eight ball if they score any kind of points right off the bat. What I will say to that is, the first handful of plays are still scripted for the offense, regardless of what the defense does. The offense is still going off scripted plays. So whether the defense lets up 0, 3, or 7 points, your game plan, your play calling still isn't going to change, regardless. So to me, the benefit, it has less to do about how the start you get off to, but more about having that momentum swing that huge momentum swing in the second half. That's why I love it. It's solely for the purpose of coming out of halftime, making those adjustments, and then getting that the offense on the board. To me that's huge, and it's hard to trump that.
I mean, I would agree, but you can't do it with when you already start down, 10, 14 points going into the half.
I just feel like we're constantly playing from behind.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty bad, and this is the other thing too, and we saw it against the Vikings. Why is it that when we finally get down 7, 10, 13, 17 points, is when we do see urgency, we do see the good play calling? Because we saw when we got off to that horrible start and they went up by 17 points on Sunday, our offense then all magically started to move.
I have the answer, because now you're putting the ball in Carson's hands.
So why are we not doing that for the first 15?
Because when at the beginning of the game, when Doug tries to establish the run like people are screaming for, but you're not able to, like if our run game is not successful, that puts us behind the 8 ball. That's what happens, and that's the truth, and that's why I keep preaching the fact that it's not about how many times you run, it's about how effective you run. Yeah, it's great to be able to establish the run because it sets the tone. I absolutely 100% agree, but if you're not getting anywhere, now you're just digging yourself into a further hole. You see the urgency when the ball is in Wentz's hands, your best player on offense. When it's in his hands, he makes things happen because he's an elite talent. That's why there's that sense of urgency that you talk about. But when you're putting it out of his hands and you're putting it in the hands of Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders, an offensive line to establish a run game, that only does so much. And if you are and analytics guys talk about this all the time. Yeah, a run is a safe play, but it's also not maximizing the potential of each play. You're talking about maximizing potential of yards gained for each play it only happens when you're passing. That's why the efficiency of a run is much more important than the amount of times you run. Does that make sense? So that's why that's what happens. And fans, old school fans, they don't want to admit it. They want to stick to this philosophy. Oh, you got to establish the run. It's not true. It's not in today's league. It's absolutely not true.
Anything to add?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You're right, Ryan. Let's change up the juju. Let's give score predictions.
Love
it. See, I originally had this as a loss, but I think I am going to change on this game just because I do think Amari Cooper, but probably being out, is big.
And their 2 tackles.
So I am going to slightly sway a win here. I am going to say that the Eagles will win this game 24-20. Offensive player of the game, I'm going to go with Zach Ertz. I think he's due for a big one. And I am going to go defensive player of the game. I'm going to go Derek Barnett. It's time. Step up.
By the way, not to interrupt, Clay Ferguson checks in on Facebook.
What's up,
Ask
Clay?
him if he's okay.
Well, he says, "Hi, guys, Duval." So it sounds like
he's been one of those guys who was so adamant that Jalen's not getting traded.
Yeah.
So he's probably feeling it right now.
Chuck's prediction, sir?
I'm going to go. I'm going to go 30-24.
Is Clay on YouTube or is he on Facebook?
Facebook. I'll go 30-24.
Why does my Facebook take forever to update?
Mine was doing the same.
And players of the game on defense.
Wait, what was your score? Sorry.
30-24.
Okay.
Players of the game, I'm going to go.
I keep picking the Eagles to have high-scoring games, and it's just not. I don't know.
Brandon Graham.
Okay.
And then on offense, this is so tough. I want to say one of the receivers. I just don't know who. I don't know if I want to say Alshon. It depends if I don't know. With Deshaun coming back, I don't know if he's going to be on the snap count.
That's why I didn't go to him.
It's so